Have you ever given something your all? Not just tried, not just hoped, not just wished things would work out, but truly given it everything you had, every ounce of effort, every bit of faith, every part of your heart. No excuses, no holding back, no wondering later if you could have done more. Take a moment and think about that. Because most people go through life believing they gave their best, when in reality they gave what was comfortable. They gave what felt safe. They gave what was convenient. But there's a difference between trying and truly giving it your all. And today, I want to talk about that difference. I think one of the greatest tragedies in life isn't failure. It's potential left unexplored. It's reaching the end of a season, a dream, a relationship, a goal, or even a lifetime and wondering, what would have happened if I had fully committed? What would have happened if I trusted God a little more? What would have happened if I stopped letting fear make my decisions? What would have happened if I had given it everything I had? The truth is, most of us want the reward, but we're afraid of the process. We want the breakthrough, but we're afraid of the uncertainty. We want the blessing, but we're afraid of the sacrifice. And because of that fear, we hold back. We keep one foot in and one foot out. We leave ourselves an escape route. We tell ourselves we're trying, but deep down we know we're protecting ourselves from disappointment. The problem is that playing it safe often creates a different kind of disappointment. The disappointment of never knowing what was possible. The disappointment of wondering what could have been. The disappointment of unrealized potential. You see, God didn't create you to live a life of hesitation. He created you with gifts, with purpose, with dreams, with unique experiences that no one else can offer the world. But those gifts require action. Purpose requires faith. And faith often requires movement before you have all the answers. That's the hard part. We want certainty before we move, but God often asks us to move before certainty arrives, to trust before we see, to believe before we understand, to take the next step before the entire path is revealed. Think about every meaningful thing you've ever accomplished, every lesson you've learned, every obstacle you've overcome, every season that helped shape who you are today. None of it happened because you stayed comfortable. Growth never happens in comfort. Growth happens when you decide that your future is more important than your fear. When you decide that your calling is more important than your excuses. When you decide that the possibility of success is worth the risk of failure. Because here's something I've learned. Failure isn't the thing most people regret. Most people regret not trying. They regret waiting. They regret doubting themselves. They regret letting fear convince them they weren't ready. They regret the opportunities they never pursued, the conversations they never had, the dreams they never gave a chance. And maybe that's where you are right now. Maybe there's something on your heart that you've been putting off. A goal, a calling, a change you know you need to make. A step of faith you've been avoiding. Maybe you've been waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect sign, the perfect amount of confidence. But what if that moment never comes? What if courage isn't something you feel first? What if courage is something you choose? What if faith isn't the absence of fear? What if faith is moving forward while fear is still present? Because the people who change their lives aren't fearless. They're willing. Willing to trust, willing to grow, willing to fail, willing to keep going. And that's what giving it your all really means. It doesn't mean being perfect. It doesn't mean never making mistakes. It doesn't mean having all the answers. It means showing up fully, giving your best effort, trusting God with the outcome, and refusing to let fear make your decisions. At the end of the day, you don't control every result. You don't control every opportunity. You don't control every circumstance. But you do control whether you show up. You do control your effort. You do control your attitude. You do control whether you choose faith over fear. So whatever you're facing right now, give it your all. Not because success is guaranteed, not because life is predictable, but because your purpose deserves your effort, your dreams deserve your faith, and the life God has called you to deserves your commitment. Thank you for spending this moment with me. If this message resonated with you, subscribe to Vibe Glow for more inspiration, faith, and encouragement. Until next time, keep growing in grace.